Hey guys, it's Hannah back with another video. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different than videos I normally would do, and I apologize if it's a little like all over the place. I don't know exactly what I'm going to say because I don't know, like this is something I thought of and I wanted to make a video about it, so I'm gonna try my best to make my thoughts like clear and like really just focus on what I'm doing, but I can't promise that it's not going to be a bit of a mess. So as you can see by the title of this video, I'm gonna be talking about Netflix and my problem with it. So today, March 14th, Netflix announced today that it would not be renewing its show One Day at a Time for a season 4, and fans, including myself, are outraged. Their reasoning for this: not enough people were watching it, which I find that hard to believe because it's trending now, like, or was, like, I don't know if it still is, probably, but when I found out, it was trending on Twitter, and that's why I found out. But like, people are outraged enough that it's trending on Twitter, and it's trended before. It was trending now, and after season 3 was released, because people were saying, oh, so good, we need season 4. And before season 3 was announced, I know it was trending probably multiple times with people saying like, oh, I want it renewed, and then, oh, it's being renewed. So it has been trending multiple times on Twitter, probably more than that. I only started watching it like sometime after the second season was released, so it's probably been trending more than that. But if no one was watching it, why would it be trending? Why would so many people be outraged that it's being canceled? I don't really believe that. I feel like it's not as popular as like Stranger Things or Orange is the New Black, and so they're like, oh, not enough people. But in reality, like, a lot of people are watching it. It's just not as many as one of their biggest shows, which a lot of people's problems is they say they don't promote it enough. Whereas Stranger Things, like Orange is the New Black, all that stuff like that is promoted to death. I see it all the time. I didn't find out about One Day at a Time until after the second season had been released, and it wasn't from Netflix. It wasn't from Netflix suggesting it to me. It wasn't from Netflix promoting it. No, it was from someone I know who was watching it. They do virtually no promotion for this show. I have to agree with people who say that. People aren't going to watch the show if you never promote it and you never tell them what it's about. Like, I didn't even know it was there. So how are people going to watch it if you're not promoting the show? My biggest issue with this not being renewed is this show means a lot to people. The show follows a Latino family living in America, which right there, like, for the main characters of the show to be Latino, that's a big deal. Like, that matters to people who are now seeing themselves being portrayed on the screen as the main characters. I'm not saying there's never been Latino or Latina characters before on TV, because there has, but it's really special to see the whole family be Latino and to be the main character. Like, there might be other shows where Latinos are the focus, but it doesn't happen very often, and I don't know for sure that there is another show like that, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm not sure. So that's a big deal in itself. This show shows a lot of different problems and different things that don't get represented on TV a lot. The daughter in the family is gay, which is huge. We see her dealing with that, eventually coming out, dealing with people not really supporting it, and how that affects her, which is amazing. That matters to people. It's so important. She eventually has a girlfriend. Her girlfriend, oh no, sorry, they don't refer to her as a girlfriend, because the person, Sydney, that she begins dating identifies as non-binary, so they don't call Sydney she. Sydney goes by they, them pronouns. And there's a whole episode or two in season 3 where they're trying to figure out what to call Sydney, because they don't want to call Sydney girlfriend when she doesn't really identify as a girl. She identifies as non-binary. I can't remember what they come up with, but that's really cool because you see this couple dealing with you know, Sydney being non-binary, which is something that, I mean, we don't see that on TV. Like, that is amazing for them to have put that in there. And there is an episode where they talk about how her and Sydney were on a date and someone made them feel very uncomfortable by pressuring them to kiss, and just they deal with a lot of hate, which is so real for people in that situation. And so that's so important. Like, I can't even put emphasis on it. The show also deals with PTSD, depression, and anxiety. The mother has PTSD, she has depression, she has anxiety, so she's on like medicine. And one of the big storylines is she struggles with being on the medicine because she feels like she's not enough and that she shouldn't need the medicine. And her mom kind of pressures her, like, you don't need to be on the medicine, you don't need to be going to therapy. So it kind of deals with how some parents and people in general put pressure on people and, like, you don't need the medicine, you don't need therapy. One episode that hit me particularly hard and was so important to me because I felt like I saw myself represented was, there's an episode in season 3 where the mother, why am I forgetting her name? Penelope is struggling with panic attacks, and I felt that they did a pretty good job of representing what a panic attack looks like. Of course, it looks different for everyone. So for some people, that may be exactly what they experience. For others, it may be completely different. For me, it was pretty similar. And she basically is like, I'm fine, I don't need help. And someone's like, you need to talk to your kids. Your kids need to know that you're going through this. So if they were to go through it themselves, they would be okay. And they would know they could come to you. And she's like, my kids are fine. My kids would tell me if they were feeling like this. My kids aren't going through it. Well, Elena, her daughter, has an anxiety attack, and that scene made me cry because it felt really close to home, and I felt what she was going through, and it was like Penelope's reaction to seeing her daughter like that was so real. I'd never seen that on TV before, represented so well. So that meant a lot to me because I felt like people understand, and this is being brought up and there's awareness to it. And it was just, I cried so much throughout that episode because it made me sad to see these characters that I'd grown to love suffer like that, and also because I understood, I related. Another thing actually from that specific episode that is, oh my gosh, like just crazy. I just looked it up and I'm already gonna forget what it was, but the mother is in therapy or support group, I guess is what it technically is, and she's saying like she doesn't want to tell her kids how she's feeling because she has the weight of the shoulders on her family, and she needs them to know that they're being raised by a stable person. And the like leader of the group looks at her and is like, hey, like having depression and anxiety doesn't make you an unstable person. And I just think that was so beautiful because there is stigma around mental illness, and there doesn't need to be like, am I stable all the time? No, but I'm not an unstable person because of my mental illness. And that show really brings that to light, which is really important. And I'm sure I'm gonna forget something important that the show talks about, but unless I remember something else, this is my last point about that particular thing. The show talks about addiction. The landlord of the building that the family lives in was an alcoholic, and I think also into drugs, but I'm not completely sure. And like when we meet the family, he's been sober for over 8 years, I think. And in the 3rd season, he relapses, and that was really hard for me to watch, and I kind of knew it was coming. I was like, he's gonna relapse, and that was so hard because I'm like, man, that's 8 years. That now it's not 8 years anymore that he's been sober, and that is such a real thing for people. And people are like, oh, addiction is a choice, blah blah blah. Well, you choose to start drinking or you choose to start doing drugs. You don't choose to get addicted. People don't like take a drink of alcohol and expect for them to get addicted to it. Addiction is an illness. Yes, you made the choice to try it, usually. I mean, there are some circumstances where something has happened, but it's not a choice. You don't choose to just, I don't want to go into that because I'm gonna end up saying something that doesn't make sense, or I'm gonna get too heated, but that's such an important thing to talk about. Such an important thing. Okay, here is my biggest issue with this show not being renewed. The show has all these amazing things, representation for people, important lessons. It's also funny and wholesome and amazing, and Netflix is canceling it. This has happened before. Netflix canceled Everything Sucks, which people loved, and there was a relationship between 2 girls on the show, and that was amazing for people. People loved that. It was such a good, like, wholesome show. I shouldn't say wholesome, there was definitely unwholesome things about it, but like, it was such a good show, and you know, it got canceled because nobody watched it. But also Netflix didn't promote that much either, I don't think. So Netflix is canceling these shows that make people feel seen and are good for people to watch and make people happy. Meanwhile, they are renewing problematic shows. And what do I mean by problematic shows? I mean Insatiable and 13 Reasons Why. Now, before I start going into this, I have not seen Insatiable. I am not saying I would not like the show. I probably would like it. I haven't watched it because I don't agree with the premise of it. And I know that in the show there was transphobic things that were said, and I don't agree with that. I'm not judging anyone who watches the show. Watch the show if you want to. I probably will watch it at some point, but it's problematic, and I'm a big believer in you can like something that's problematic or like someone that's problematic, but you need to admit it. You can't just pretend that it's not. So that's that on that. 13 Reasons Why. Read the book, watched the 1st season, loved it. Watched the 2nd season, loved it. Loved the show. Excited that it's coming back for season 3, honestly, because I got sucked into the drama. However, problematic. It's so problematic. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, when the 1st season came out, I defended it so much. And now thinking about it, like, I really agree with things that a lot of people are saying. And I feel like I can still like the show while not agreeing with everything about it. First of all, I didn't feel like there needed to be a 2nd season. So I really feel like 1 season would have been fine. There was 1 book. I don't feel like we needed a 2nd season. The 2nd season was good in my opinion. I'm excited for season 3, but do we need a season 2 or season 3? No, there was only 1 book. I didn't feel like we needed to make more out of it. So that's my opinion on that. I would have rather had more One Day at a Time or more Everything Sucks. Yeah, there's that. I agree with people who don't think that the show should have gotten a season 2 and should not be getting a season 3. I don't think the money needs to be going to making that, personally. I think that One Day at a Time was such a happy show while still showing real issues that it needs to be on Netflix, whereas 13 Reasons Why and Insatiable don't. And it's not fair to me that a show like 13 Reasons Why is getting as many seasons as an amazing show like One Day at a Time is. And another thing a lot of people have a problem with is Netflix is spending a lot of money to keep Friends on Netflix. And that money could be going to their original content that people enjoy. Which I like Friends. I want Friends to stay on Netflix, but I have to agree, like, if it was between having Friends on Netflix or more seasons of One Day at a Time, I would pick One Day at a Time. Friends is still on TV. I can watch it there. I may not be able to watch it in order or whenever I want, but I can watch it there. I'm not going to, like, it's not going to be that big of a deal. And it just makes me so mad because Netflix was like, oh, we're taking Friends off, and then there was outrage, and Netflix was like, oh, never mind, like, we'll leave it on there, like, we're paying a lot of money, but we'll leave it on there. But people are outraged about One Day at a Time, and people have also been outraged about Fuller House being canceled. They don't listen to their fans then. They don't listen to people paying the bills then. But when it came to keeping Friends on Netflix, a show that's still on TV, like, they were like, oh, we gotta listen because people are mad. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, people, and they're also apparently raising their prices again, and I'm like, what are you raising your prices for? You're not keeping the shows that people want. And I know it's impossible to make everyone happy, but, like, no one's happy with One Day at a Time being taken off. Either they don't care because they've never seen it, or they're upset because they have seen it. No one's like, oh, good, like, it was a good show, but it's time for it to go. Like, no one is thinking that. And there's a lot of people that don't agree with Friends being kept on there. They don't think it's a good show, which I don't understand, but, like, whatever. Like, it is an old show. Like, it doesn't need to still be on there. You can watch it illegally. You can watch it on TV. You can buy a DVD. Like, it's just ridiculous that they're paying so much money and then now having to increase their prices. And I don't really understand. People are paying money for Netflix. Where is the money going if it's not? I shouldn't say that because I don't understand how it works. But you're gonna listen to the people paying the money when they want to keep something, and it's gonna cost you $100 million to keep something that's over 10 years old, 20 years old, really. But when people are outraged that you're taking off amazing shows, like, then that's not when that matters. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Basically, this video did not go where I thought it was going to. I rambled a lot more than I wanted to. Point of the video, One Day at a Time. Okay, everything sucks, amazing, deserve to be renewed. Probably too late. It's been a while. One Day at a Time just got canceled. It is not too late for Netflix to change their mind. It is not too late for another network to pick it up. The girl who plays Elena, she thinks that it could get picked up by another network. If Brooklyn Nine-Nine can do it, if Fuller House can possibly do it, because apparently it might get picked up, who knows, then One Day at a Time can do it. So tweet, say you're gonna cancel your subscriptions. I don't know. If I was paying money for the subscription, if it was me and not my mother, canceled. Like, it would be done. I would use someone else's to watch Stranger Things and stuff like that, because I'm a college student, so if it was me paying the money, I would be like, no, it's too many, like 3 strikes, you're done. So tweet, use your outrage, cancel your subscriptions, I don't know, do whatever you feel is the right thing, because people need this show. It's so important, and it makes people feel seen. So please just do it. Like, do something. Use your voices.